Hello and welcome to another edition of BRC TV. This week coming to you from Treasury Brisbane Hotel, one of the Brisbane Racing Club's major partners and sponsor of last week's Stradbroke season opener, Treasury Brisbane Queensland Guineas Day. Today on the show, we preview the big contingent of New Zealanders headed to the carnival with New Zealand expert Mick Guerin. We take a look back at last week's Queensland Guineas meeting, where the heavens opened, but not enough to stop a terrific opening to Stradbroke season. We catch up with Steve Brown from the Racing League and talk about how you can become a member of the Queensland Rogues. And of course, Bart will be along with his tips as we look for winners at the Gold Coast Hollandale Stakes meeting on Saturday. But first, the locally trained horses held their own at Eagle Farm last week as Stradbroke season kicked off for 2021. New Zealand horses have been a strong force at the Queensland Carnival for many decades, and in 2021 they look like having their strongest representation in a number of years.
Well, one of the exciting things about this year's carnival is the return of the New Zealanders. We missed out on seeing them last year, but the borders have opened up a little bit more now and we're looking forward to seeing them. There's one in particular we're all looking forward to seeing, but to run us through some of those horses we're expecting to see from New Zealand, please welcome Mick Guerin, the racing editor of the New Zealand Herald.
Hey Nathan, great to be joining you guys, and I can tell you what, you might be excited about the Kiwis coming across. We're a lot more excited about being there probably a month ago, Nathan, because of the COVID situation and how tricky it was to get staff and owners wanting to go. I thought this carnival might get 3 or 4 Kiwis. The latest count, as of this morning, guaranteed coming, 15, and I think there's a few more to add to the list on that.
Well, that's terrific to hear. There is one headline named Melody Bell. We're looking forward to seeing her in the Hollandale Stakes on Saturday and then in the Doomben Cup for her finale. So is there much excitement or much anticipation about her sort of heading off to retirement after what she's done in New Zealand?
I think it's such a rare thing for horses to do, to race at your carnival, to race on the 22nd at the Doomben Cup and then go straight to the sale. It's unprecedented, for a horse who's a 14-time Group 1 winner. She gets a huge following. And also the New Zealand racing season starting to parry back. We're getting very close to the jump season starting here, so we don't have too many proper group races. So there'll be a lot of hype around her. She'll dominate the news cycle in New Zealand, but all these other horses, particularly the 3-year-olds, are pretty exciting. So I can see after us missing the carnival last year, and really you can feel it, because the carnival to us, the Queensland Carnival, was such a big deal. Going back, of course, to Rough Habit and those sort of days. There's no one who doesn't love racing who hasn't seen that video 100 times in New Zealand. So I think people are really excited about it. And as I said, many people are excited because they can get on a plane. We've been stuck in New Zealand for 13 to 14 months. The place people love going the most in Australia is Queensland, and going to the Goldie and all these sort of things. So yes, I'd fear to say there'll be a few jockeys putting their hand up and stable staff saying, oh yeah, this is the one trip I'm pretty happy to do. This carnival, we missed it last year. It was boiling away about 6 weeks ago. They opened the bubble, and now everybody wants a bit of Queensland.
Micro-ownership has become a popular way to start the journey as a racehorse owner, and the Racing League is the latest way to become a part of the industry without spending a fortune. As we discovered at the Racing League's Eagle Farm function last week, it's also about having a lot of fun along the way.
Here we are today. It's the launch for the Queensland Rogues in the world's first racing league, where people can buy into 6 premium racehorses for $200 and really get a feel for what it's like to own in the sport of kings. There's 4 states involved in the racing league. There's the Blackhearts over in WA, the Rogues in Queensland, the Victorian Hustlers and the New South Wales Tycoons. They all race in different colours, which have been suggested by the owners in each state. The trainers are all obviously located in their own states, and they will compete in the usual racing ecosystem, but at the same time also earn points depending on the type of races that they're winning. So Rob Heathcote, who was just here, we've got Tony Gollan coming up shortly, we've got Toby and Tread Edmonds at the Gold Coast, Chris Anderson, Michael Costa, and Chris Bunce, of course, who's also coming up later on this afternoon to talk to the guys. We're really keen to see more and more people get involved in this wonderful sport, because racing has something here in ownership that no other sport has. The problem has always been price. The Racing League has addressed that by making it affordable at $200 and $20 a month.
Well, Bart joins us now here at the Treasury Bar, and I remember years ago coming to a barrier draw where you and Wayne Wilson hosted a barrier draw from here one year.
Treasury Brisbane's had a long association with the racing industry, and people come here to celebrate or commiserate, I guess, after the meetings. But yeah, it's a great venue. Yeah,
well, we thank our partners at Treasury Brisbane and encourage all visitors to Eagle Farm and Doomben over the carnival to pop in and say hi here during that time. But on a sad note to start with, Noel Doyle, a really top trainer here in Queensland for many years. I dealt with him a little bit in my time, but obviously he was at his prime in the 80s and 90s.
I had a long association with Noel. He was a capable jockey, but he was a very successful trainer with a small team of horses. You know, his best was Kinjite, but Don't Play was a narrow runner-up in a Stradbroke. He was the one who got Stylish Century going, and you know, he was a master horseman and a sad passing. Yeah,
condolences to his family and friends. He'll be looking down on that Gold Coast meeting on Saturday, and I'd say with a bit of pride too, because this is a ripping good Hollandale Stakes. It's the best in my time that I can remember.
Yeah, look, in recent years it's been a little bit skinny, but it's back in really strong depth. And you go through the winners list, and you've got Might and Power, Rough Habit won a couple, Durbridge. It's been a terrific race, and good to see it back with real quality.
Yeah, we know it'll be a very worthy winner this year. Tough race though.
Well, you're going to get value if you can put your hand on the winner. I think it'll be $6 the field for sure.
All right, well, talking about value, you're going to really surprise our viewers with your first selection.
Well, it's difficult as we come into this meeting, not knowing exactly how the conditions are going to be, not going to know whether the inside barriers are an advantage or not until we get through a couple of runs. But in the first, I think a horse called Go Darcy has a chance here. He's $26. He's had 5 goes at the track and distance, some of them on soft tracks, and he's won 3 and been placed on the other 2. So it's a good form line, and I thought his last run in a shorter race was quite good after a little freshen up. So I'm way off the track in the first.
$26, a little bit more on straight and narrow with the next selection.
Yeah, Racecourse Road raced for the Gold Market. I can't see why he won't win again, and he scored there at the Gold Coast on a rain-affected track, and he's had, 8 goes on soft for 4 wins, and he's won on that heavy track down there.
The locals got the prize in the 2-year-old race last week, and you think they can do so again in the Ken Russell Memorial?
Bit of guesswork, well, a lot of guesswork. Mr. Larrabee, he did nothing his first run, and then blinkers on at the Sunshine Coast. I know he didn't beat much opposition, but the margin was good, 4.5 lengths, and the section in that race was good. I like the way he hit the line. He's been tardy out in both his runs. That's a little bit of a worry, but he might be one that's going to take big improvement again.
Well, if you're on the money this week, your followers will have plenty of cash come Saturday night. I think Signora Nera. Yeah. Signora Nera for me in the bracelet. I think she's a little bit over the odds coming out of that. A really good run in the ATC Oaks. This looks a little bit easier, but hopefully you find a winner on the weekend, and hopefully you do too, Bart.
Good on you.